All right, welcome to week, I guess, 5, Hosh Umadin. I'm going to be, again, studying Persian for the next, I don't know, hour or so. I see the chat, past, present, and future. So, welcome. For anybody here, let me know, can you hear me? Can you see me? I see Vincent, no ads. There you go. All right, I turned them off just for you. So I'll have to remember to turn them back on for the video on demand after, if anybody's watching these after the fact. I think people do, which is kind of cool. I hope people are having fun and getting something out of this. So as usual, I have my coffee. This is in my Penn Linguistics conference mug that has, this is a mug, and then of course this is another one. Now there are two of them. There are two blank. Classic reference to the WUG test. And so I'm drinking a Ethiopia Nano Chala from Solid State, which is great roasters. I don't know if they ship, but if they do, you should all think about buying some. They're not paying me to say that. It's just delicious, and I've always had a good time there. Also, as usual, learning today is dedicated to that one guy who said he was going to kill me for studying Persian. So here's to you. And we are ready to go. Zevel, Shvotov. I don't think one can just say like Shambe Chob, but why not? Logan, good to see you here live. So what I'm going to do today is, as usual, I'm going to review some of what I already read. That's going to be chapters like, I think, 8, 9, and 10 in this book, and it gets a little intense. And then I'm going back and just adding a lot to the Anki deck that I've made, and especially with the audio. The reason for doing this is because I'm finding that reviewing, I'll read the book on the subway, I'll listen to the audio when I'm taking, my daughter for nap time, and it's going all right. But for me personally, the Anki cards, especially with the audio, are way, way, way more effective. Like I don't know if you all heard that. It sounds like the heat it just came up. So I got the steam heat. Vincent, yeah, Yekshanbe. It's not Shambe. It's Yekshanbe. I find that the Anki stuff works for me really well, so I'm gonna keep doing that. I have all of that open on my other screen, which I will share with you in just a moment. So here we go. I actually have the textbook open in 2 different apps so I can compare different places. I was trying to copy and paste into Anki, and it was not going great. Even the transliteration, I was getting all sorts of just numbers and stuff. So in the last week, I again ripped through 2 chapters, but let me remember, I'm on page like 44 because we're going to come back to that. So let's see. I think I have my little chapters here. So number 8, Goftoguya Khiyabani, that's street talk. This textbook, it's intended for Brits in particular, the English, I don't know, people from the United Kingdom, to cast as broad a net as possible. And they have it's like you go through customs because you're going to Iran. You have an emergency, you got to call the ambulance. Then there's giving and receiving directions. And then there's you're arrested by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard and have to call your embassy. It's a lot. So the grammar in these chapters is great, but this emergency situations is I want to call my lawyer, I need to call my embassy. And I'm I don't really want that. So it's very intense. Anyway, I'm looking more at the grammar in particular, and then a little bit of the vocabulary, and see what I can get out of this. So you should be able to see the textbook pretty big. As usual, I'm using the 3rd edition of Colloquial Persian from Routledge. There is a 4th edition. I have the 3rd. I have a link to buy the 3rd if you want to follow along, and I am not going to be doing everything in the textbook, nor will I be really even showing everything in the textbook. This is more for sort of educational purposes as far as how a linguist studies. You can study and learn with me, and if you wish to buy the textbook, you can in the link in the description. It's an Amazon affiliate link, so I think I'll get 12 cents or something. If everybody buys a textbook, I can probably buy a coffee. Now, one thing I'll say about this textbook that I've noticed as I've continued to go through it. I really do like that they keep the transliteration throughout, but also it's there's a very sort of organized structure for how the grammar is taught, and what that means is that I have not yet seen a sentence with a relative clause, and I won't until next week on the live stream. There's a little bit here and there, but it's like we get relative clauses and conditionals next. We have covered a lot already, and I think let's see. So the first thing that we have in chapter 8 is a dialogue that's what time is it? It's telling time. And then you start seeing things like, let's see. Well, I'll go to the explanation first and we'll come back. I kind of read the textbooks a little out of order, and I think it's a better way of doing it. So ideally what they have you do is like listen to the dialogue and then go back and like read it in English and then read it with the transliteration, listen again, and then go back and look at the vocabulary. I look at the vocab, I look at the grammar notes, and then I go and look at the dialogues when I actually have a little bit of a framework to hang everything off of. So what they're teaching here, and I remember, I'm not sure if it was Vincent or somebody else a previous week who mentioned, is Persian a agglutinating language? There's some little agglutinative behavior that is covered in this particular chapter. So we saw all of the word final, like possessive markers, for instance, or the verbal endings are the same. What they're doing here is object endings, which is kind of cool. So the possessive endings introduced in lesson 2 can also be used as objects after verbs. So you have these little clitics. Vincent, it wasn't you. Okay, it was somebody. So you have these little clitics. So they don't stand on their own as an independent word. They attach to some other word, and usually it's like the verb here. And we already saw this with like, I ate the sandwich. So the am is doing the thing of like, you don't have to say man sandvicho khardam because the am is the first person singular. So if I say man sandvicho khardam, it may be something more like, it was I who ate the sandwich and not somebody else, versus sandvicho khardam is like a little bit more normal, I'm led to believe. So give an example here. They say uno khardam, which is like I ate it. So un is like it or that. O is the sort of colloquialization of the direct object marker ro. And then they have this new thing. And this is cool. This is all the same endings, but you see khordamesh. So khordamesh is khord, which I'll highlight here. That's, the past stem of to eat. And then am, so I ate. And then esh is the direct object. Khordamesh is I ate it, right? Super cool. Two things. One is that the object ending comes at the end. I'm taking a moment to see what happened in the chat after I say these two things. So one is the object comes at the end. And two is raw is gone. It's not necessary when the object is incorporated into the verb here. All right, so I see in the chat, flashcard tips really helped. Excellent. Thank you. I'm glad they helped for you. And I see Zella saying, shouldn't I use Arabic script and not the English one? So when I go to Iran, I am not going to Iran. But I mentioned this a few times before. I can read it already. I can read and write it. So what it does for me right now is adds an additional layer of work that I don't need. What I'm really focusing on is making sure that I can understand the language. And for me, it is easier for me to remember and retain and focus on it looking at a transliteration that I find easy compared to looking at the spelling in the Arabic script. And the Arabic script is like a new thing that was imposed on Persian after like 2 other scripts, which were objectively way cooler. So, doesn't really matter to me. And I think this is actually a really good point. So more broadly, linguists in general, we don't care. Like we'll use some sort of transcription, transliteration. We might use some sort of pseudo-IPA, but writing is in linguistics anyway, thought of as a technology. It is secondary to the language, and whatever works for you for writing it down, notating it, analyzing it, and moving on. So I could be using my own new script of, little pictures for all the sounds. It doesn't really matter so long as it works for me and I can analyze it and retain it. because I'm already very, hopefully very literate in English, uh, except for, according to one of my old syntax professors, may he may he rest in peace. Um, this is easier for me to use. So already very literate in English. Script is very comfortable for me. It's fine. All right, so back to where we were. Samdavitro chardam, instead of saying the full noun phrase, you can have a pronoun, right? Which is uno chardam, so un ro or on ro chardam, I ate it. And then you have chardamesh, which is the direct object is incorporated into the verb, the verbal complex, so to speak. And there's no ro there. So this is cool. This is very, very, very like agglutinative, which is not a technical term in linguistics, but it's kind of cool. And they have a bunch of examples here. Now, I am starting to suspect that the author of this textbook is a trained linguist. I skipped right into the actual course material. I didn't read about the author, but the approach here, they give an example. And then they start giving examples where they're like, here's how it works with compound verbs. Here's how it works with prepositions. So they're running down all the different kind of places that this could happen in a very systematic way, which looks very familiar to like a syntax paper. So between two elements of a compound verb, I'll scroll up so you can see. So you can see it. Maybe I need to turn on continuous scrolling, or just move where I am on the screen. I'll do that. I'm up here now. So they have Roshan Kardan, which is to turn off. To turn on. Roshan. So computero Roshan Kardam. I turned on the computer. Then he gives the example uno Roshan Kardam, and then Roshanesh Kardam, which is I don't know if I talked a lot about light verbs. I see in the chat polysynthetic. That's actually correct. So I don't know if I talked about light verbs before. It's kind of an interesting thing in linguistics and sort of cross-linguistically. French does this, English does this. I think I gave the example of like do the dishes, where do is the verb, and then the dishes are the thing that like gives it its sort of semantic meaning. So here you have a lot of that with like Kardan, Shodan. There's a few other verbs that also function as light verbs. And then Roshan is giving it the real meaning, which is to turn something on. What's cool about this is that the clitic attaches to the sort of semantic component of the light verb, which is really cool. I mean, I think it's cool. So Roshanesh Kardam, I turned it on. Same thing, he goes through prepositions. So zir is under, zire mis under the table, zire un, and ziresh under it. This feels like it's opening up an entirely different sort of way of using the language, which it is. And instead of having to use, the full noun phrase, the pronouns, this is opening up all sorts of cool stuff. And it looks, honestly, it feels very cozy and familiar because it's similar to French, even though French writes all the clitics as separate words. They're clitics. You can't pronounce them on their own, really. And it's kind of like Zulu as well. So it's feeling like very kind of comfortable here. I just really like it. I don't know what to say. So Ziresh under it. Bene Ahmed o Ali, between Ahmed and Ali. Bene Unho and Bene Shun. Like between them, that's great. So notice it's replacing two things here, right? It's replacing a whole noun phrase that is coordinated nouns. And then boom, just shun. Ruye konope. So first of all, konope as sofa, that's borrowed from French, which is great, or at least the same word as in French. It's great. Ruye un and rush. And then again, baroye Ahmed, for Ahmed, baroye u, and barosh, which is baroye sh, but then shortened. So the phonology comes into play. So this is a lot of fun. I see in the chat a lot of discussion of whether or not it's a good time to go to Iran. Generally not right now. I'm down here now. Zevel, don't go. I don't know. Unless you're like a huge fan of the TV show Tehran and want to relive that for yourself, you should probably stay put. As should I, but I'm going to California. Hence my flag with the California Republic and the little pre-79 flag mashup with the California flag. That's what my thumbnail for this is. And I'm making like hoodies and stuff with it. I'm going to wear that because I think it looks cool, and I'm going to see how people react to it. It'll be fun. So ruye kanape, ruye un, rush, and then baroy ahmad, baroy u, barosh. So this is like a whole different kind of grammar, and you just, boom, you suddenly see it in chapter 8. Sometimes there's a linking or intrusive H, but that's just sort of normal pronunciation kind of stuff. So Ahmad goftam. So I told Ahmad, Be'u goftam. I said to him, and Behesh goftam. Or it can be Besh, which is why the H is in parentheses here, because H's just disappear anyway. Ba Ahmad raftam cinema. So I went to the cinema with Ahmed. Ba'u raftam cinema. So notice it's not like Be cinema raftam. And then Bahesh, or because H's don't, like, there's a whole, we get into some cool phonological theory here. You can say, Bahash raftam cinema. So what's going on here is something that this blew my mind in phonology 1. Maybe it's phonology 2. I think it's phonology 1 in grad school, where there's this idea of what they call like a feature geometry. And effectively, it's a way of saying that like there's different tiers or different categories of sounds. You can think of it as like, I kind of have been thinking about this stuff in terms of like Python classes because it makes sense to me. But some of them see each other and some of them don't. Some of them affect one another and some of them don't. And so one way of thinking about this, like it's really good for handling tones where it's super segmental features that all interact with one another, but the actual segments, the consonants and vowels don't affect it. But here, this looks like, okay, H is just not like blocking the assimilation of vowels nearby. So and are close enough, and the h is there's different approaches to this in terms of like future geometries, but basically it's just on a different tier, and so those two can be thought of as side by side, and you get assimilation to bahosh. So I think it's a cool thing. They get further reduced to bom, bot, bosh, bamun, batun, boshun, which is a very cool thing. I see. Have you shared the flag picture anywhere other than in the thumbnail? I'd love to show it to a few friends. I can share it. I'll do that. It's something like my Teespring store. I have like stickers and stuff. I was gonna do stickers on my notepad for studying Farsi, and then which, by the way, is like most of my merch is just stuff that I think would look cool and I like it. And I buy one, and like if anybody else buys it, then so much the better for me. But it's a way of like designing my own stuff. I'll see if I can just share the PNG or something in the chat after this if I remember to do it. But it's fun. All right, so we also see after ezofe, so nesf, and they're introducing this word here. They introduce new words in the exercises, which is great, but then you also have to remember to do all the exercises. So nesf esip, half of an apple, the apple, nesfeun, and nesfesh, half of it. Okay, so that's actually super cool. And hamea charboze, so the whole melon, hamash, all of it. And then they say, in light of the above explanations, the following sentences from dialogue 1 should now be easier to decipher. Now, this is why I skipped to this stuff, because I'm not going to be confused by dialogue 1 and then come back to it. It feels like a waste of my time. So, nemitunam, I can't. Bechunamesh, read it. So the be is the prefix for like subordinate clauses, like verbs and subordinate clauses. And let's see. Baram michunidesh, will you read it for me? So baram, baroya man, right? Baroya am, so baram. Michunidesh, will you read it for me? So michunid is you will read. And it's interesting to me that this is in the indicative, because nemirutam bechunamesh, I would have thought it would have had a be at the front, but it has me. Will you read it for me? Which is fine. We get into more subjunctive and more conditional stuff in the next few chapters. Vincent, I see you've been thinking about getting the book, but you already have a few grammars, and you're worried if you get it, it'll just end up collecting intro to material instead of progressing. Welcome to, my bookshelf. I have a bunch of grammars of Persian, and I don't know if you have the money to spare and you enjoy the process of collecting grammars, which I had to just recognize. I like the process of collecting grammars and comparing between and among them. Then, enjoy. If you think you aren't going to use it or aren't going to like it and it's going to feel like a waste, then, do what works for you. For me, I'm blown away by this book because this is the first thing that has actually worked for me. It's not that I haven't buckled down and actually studied. It's that this is really what is working for me. Now, quick side note, Rosetta Stone has definitely had some effect when I use Rosetta Stone. I was talking with my wife about this yesterday or the day before, and I was like, oh my God, here's the grammar. Like, we can talk about it because she's married to a linguist, so she knows what she's in for. And I was like, okay, so light verbs, like, let's take the verb bazi kardan. And she's like, oh, that's to play. Now, she looked at Rosetta Stone for Persian like 11, 12 years ago. And the issue, and this is like my number one reason that I don't recommend Rosetta Stone for people who want to learn multiple languages, is that they use the same images for everything. For Persian, they also speak very formally as a whole, there's other issues. But she was like, yeah, because of the puppy. And I knew exactly what she meant because there's a picture of a young woman playing with a puppy. There's also a picture of like a little boy reading a book by a tree and his dad kicking a soccer ball. And like they're using these sentences, but it's the same thing across all the different languages. So the problem is if you study French, Italian, Chinese, Persian, whatever, then what happens is you remember the thing in English, right? Oh, I want to say play, or you remember the concept, and then you remember the picture. But maybe not the words, because you have words in French, Chinese, Italian, Persian, whatever else that you've studied, and it's all linked to the same thing. So one of the things I like about using different materials, or even about, honestly, Duolingo, is that it's different sentences and different courses for different languages, and that helps you have like different mental hooks for the same thing. If you use the same picture across languages as your mnemonic, then what you remember is the picture, which definitely sticks with you for 12 years at this point. Now, I will say, I said bazi kardan, and she knew what it meant because of that and remembered the picture. But if I said, how do you say play in Persian, she would have thought, girl is playing with a puppy. In dukhtar, I don't know, sag. And I haven't seen sag in this book, so this is from 12 years ago. Like, in dukhtar ba sag bazi mikunam, right? That's something like that. Saeed, Salom. Vincent, you said you bought a lifetime subscription. Enjoy it. Use it. It's good. Like, I use it for stuff. I still use the stuff that I, got when I worked there. Like, it'll work. It's just, the more languages you do, the more you find, okay, I'm seeing the same thing. And you have to figure out ways to like hook it. But the audio quality is good. They have the spectrograms. I think this is one of those things that you're going to see over and over again from me. Is I'm like, this works and that works. This works and that works. And the newest video that I released, I'm talking about, what might work or not work for people who are a little more like neurodivergent in different ways. But everything can work. It's a question of what works best for you and what you're actually going to do and what's faster and more effective. There's certain things that are demonstrated to be faster and more effective. So like my close deletion Anki cards are actually going to help me more than not. But if I just really hate doing that and I won't do it, then that's not effective because it's something that I'm just not going to do. So if you have it, enjoy it. Yek dokhtar va yek sag. Yeah, yes. Yek dokhtar va yek sag. And then later on, there's the picture. It's like, maybe she has a kid. I don't know. There's puppies, there's kittens. They do try to use best practices to make them evocative pictures. All right, so we have Nemutanam Bechunamesh and Baram Michunidesh, and I'll have to listen to it to actually get, the intonation correct. By the way, intonation, I was just reading this in a textbook on second language acquisition. Intonation is like the number one thing that makes people feel like you were doing a good job or a bad job. You can have slightly weird segments, you can have kind of a weird accent, but if your intonation is good, cross-linguistically, people are like, yeah, you're pretty good at this language. Whereas if your pronunciation is perfect, but your intonation is weird, people don't like you because your pronunciation sounds so good, and then the intonation is communicating, and they think that you're communicating intentionally things that you don't intend to be communicating. This is why Russians are sometimes thought of as angry. This is why, like, there's all sorts of stuff here. Why Israelis are thought of as rude. Like, intonation, it's a thing. So I need to focus on intonation here. They have more examples here, and this is kind of cool because there's a difference between how this works with a verb that's just on its own and a light verb that has two parts, a separable verb. So they have I'm waiting. Now this is where they seem to be introducing this verb. So montazer, which sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like a mountain chalet that you're waiting for someone at, right? Like we were going to go skiing together at Montazer. I see you've had people tell you have no accent, probably because of intonation, although pronunciation, I mean, at a certain point, you can get too far afield, and then people will be like, you're not from here, are you? So Montazer, we got Montazeram, I'm waiting. Montazere to hastam. So Montazere to hastam, waiting for you. This feels like it's like kind of nouny here, right? Like it's kind of cool. Anyway, Montazeret hastam. So boom, you have Montazeret and then hastam, right? Or Montazeratam. Now, this is a little different than what we just saw, right? We just saw, if I scroll back up, this is where it gets tricky, right? If I scroll back up, they said, Chordamesh, I ate it, right? And then down here, we see Montazeratam. So not Montazeram et. Something's going on here. So not knowing what I'm going into from the training that I have, I'm thinking there's a couple of different possibilities. One is that it's people versus inanimate objects. I don't know. That there may be an order for these pronouns. That seems like a cross-linguistically common thing. I'm also noticing that here, Shomoro didam, and then didametun. So this order is different than this order. So I might actually search here just to go to the index at the end. Because I bet Montazer is like... Yeah, okay. Searching through everything. I bet it's... Yeah, okay, we have exercises here. There's a glossary at the end. Here we go. Waiting. Right, so I did say it sounds sort of gerundy, sort of verby. Montazer is waiting. And it seems like this is a light verb, right? Doing a waiting. Montazer hastam. Montazer bud. So that, I'm just going to put a pin in that and come back to that. But yeah, here, what chapter is this? This is to be waiting, Montazere Budan. This is... Oh, this they did teach in Unit 7, Montazere. Okay, so Montazere Budan, Montazere somebody, here's the useful structure, Montazere somebody Budan. So what I'm seeing is... and I see a different theory in the chat than what I'm about to propose. Actually, Ali, I see you're exactly. This only happens with to be. Does it happen with Ali? Does it happen with like kardan? Does it happen with shodan? Is it a light verb thing or is it just a to be thing? Montazeret hastam. So that's just ending montazeretam. And then didan. So we had what page was I on? I'll find it. Just cool structural stuff. Just scrolling. Yeah. So montazeram, montazeratam. Shouldn't parse it as a light verb. Okay, I won't. I will attempt not to. And then I see shomoro didam didametun. I saw you. Didam etun. That's this feels like really it feels right. This feels like you could think of different ways that this could happen, and it feels like these make like intuitive sense to me. I don't know if everybody else has the same experience with this, but it feels right. And then they have exercises for us to do. I'll put these exercises into my Anki deck as I go on. And that's why I had the two windows open with the textbook, so I could just, take the exercise, take the answer. So anoro chodam, can I say I ate it? That would be chodamesh, which I have right here. Okay. Amaro didam, didamesh, right? They're giving me the same one. Televiziono chamush kardam, chamushesh kardam. Yeah, I think so. I'll double check later. Anyway, so this stuff, like this, I think is more useful than the dialogues. They also have what's the matter with, or what's wrong with, which is che, object ending, and e. So cheme, what's the matter with me? I guess you could ask a doctor that, right? I could say cheme, maybe. Chete, cheshe, chemune. So this is very clear. And then hichim nist, and we'll see negatives in chapter 9. So a lot of like telling the time kind of stuff. I'm not going to waste all of your time with telling the time. It's just, half past, quarter past, all that stuff. I want to go to another grammatical thing. And just really quickly, if you see here, piade. Piade is like pedestrian and is actually related to the word pedestrian. So I like that. I remember that from the lesson where you're riding in the taxi, and he says piade shodam, right? Piade mishodam, right? I'll become a pedestrian here. I'm going to get out here. They have cardinal directions. This is just going to be just memorize and work this. They have an exercise to do that. So shomal, jonub, sharq, and qarb. Now, qarb is looks like it's from Arabic and is cognate with Hebrew as well. So Morocco, Maghreb, Maghrib in Hebrew. Think about like evening services. It's all West-related words in Semitic languages. The others, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if these are straight from Arabic or not. It looks like not all of them are. Which would be kind of cool if some are and some aren't. So how to say northwest, southeast, all that stuff, and then corners, and then you just give directions. So I'm not going to do that right now. I'll do that on my my Anki deck as I build it through the week. Can you say this in Persian? Where's my cake? I ate it. So kekeman or kekam kujost. So kekam kujost chodamesh. I ate it, right? The light's off or not? Okay, so this is all using what you learned. Then is there a public phone around here? Asking for help. And this, I don't think there was much that was super interesting here. It's just, we do get fekr kardan. So we see a little hint of some relative clauses here. Let's see, where is this? I thought you might not be familiar with telephones in Iran. So how do they do that? Because okay, fekr kardam, and then the whole sentence, which is great because you could think that it was fekr, k, whole sentence, kardam, and that would be just a lot to keep in your head. That's sort of the German approach to things. So fekr kardam, shayad ba telefone hoye omuniye Iran, yada, 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 yada. So I thought that maybe that's a useful thing. Okay. There is, there are, there were. That's hast and bood, easy. We've seen that. I'm going to get into audio and Anki in just a moment, but I want to also go through this, after and before. This was cool stuff. Okay. After I ate or after I have eaten. Same way. So there's two things. Bad as is just for a noun. Bad as nahar is after lunch. Fine. And bad as inke nahar khordam, after I ate lunch. So that's fine. That's like after from it's that I ate lunch. Like that's fine. Makes sense. So you have bad as inke and then a clause or a sentence. That's cool. But what they do is, well, it says, note, the verb in the sentence is normally expressed in the past simple regardless of the actual time of happening. Meaning, if I want to say, after I've eaten lunch, I'll go to the store tomorrow. It's still bad as in nahar khordam and not mi khoram. Super cool. So it's not after I will eat lunch, I will go to the store, like it is in French and like it is in other languages. Instead, I have to wrap my head around this. If I want to say after I've eaten lunch today, and I haven't yet eaten lunch, it's still after I ate lunch, I will go to the cinema. So this one they have bad as in ken nahar khordam raftam cinema. After I ate lunch, I went to the cinema, and then bad as in ken nahar khordam miram cinema. After I've eaten lunch, I will go to the cinema. Very cool. So that's one thing that I thought was very cool, and I'm gonna have to just grab all of those, put them in my Anki, and cram them into my brain. There's also pass as a literary thing. They give you some exercises on this. That's fun, and then you get to before doing something, before lunch versus before I ate or eat lunch. So qabla as, and I'll work on my pronunciation with the audio. Qabla as inke, same idea. So one is just a noun, one is a clause. So qabla as nahar, before lunch. Qabla as inke nahar bokharam. Notice bokharam. It has the subjunctive prefix. So before I eat lunch. This is something I was first exposed to like this, doing sort of a deep dive on this when I wrote a paper on negation in African American English using the reduced form e, like eem, E-E-M or E-E-N. And the semantics professor Florian at UPenn kind of pointed me in the direction of non-veridical stuff, just non-veridicality instead of just subjunctive or whatever else. And this is sort of textbook non-veridicality is before this. Before it's like the thing that follows it hasn't happened. And hasn't happened in your conceptual telling of the story. So after I eat lunch, even though it might be I'm eating lunch later today, it's still like positing the thing as taking it for granted as like a real thing, as a veridical thing, as like true fact. This grammatically has this sort of non-veridical thing going on of like before, like there's even some dialects of English where it's like before I don't eat lunch, which is like, I don't know, lest I eat lunch or whatever. It's the same kind of thing where it's non-veridical. So I have to remember qabla zinke nahar bokharam, which is totally different. So before and after have this this cool thing. I see in the chat I put the stress in the wrong the wrong syllable. Shoyad has stress in the first syllable. It's and boyad too, right? So and it's actually a frozen form of shoyastan. Okay, shoyad. So qabla zinke nahar bokharam raftam cinema. Before I ate lunch, I went to the cinema, which you get from the following clause. Like before I ate lunch, I went to the cinema, so it's past. Qabla zinke nahar bokharam miram cinema. Before I ate lunch, I will go to the cinema. This is super cool. This just kind of, I've been thinking about this for 2 or 3 days since I looked at this during nap time, and it was just really cool. Lastly, gerund, verbal noun, to eat versus eating. I was wondering, because I haven't seen a lot of the infinitive, and it's the infinitive. So to eat as well as eating, khordan, raftan, didan, tamashokardan. So, sargarmi hoyaman in host, my hobbies are these, raftan be cinema, khundan kitab. That makes sense to me, to read books, to go to the movies, and so on. So, then there's unit 9. Right, I'm slowing down here. This is where you talk about food and drinks in your diet, order a meal. This is basically just food talk, which is great, but that I'm actually quite comfortable with. The main thing that they teach here, I think, is negation. They teach ta'aruf as well, like don't stand on ceremony. There's a lot of ta'aruf here. which is great. But there's the meta game now of like, have some food. Oh no, I'm not very hungry. And then it says, well, don't do tarof. Okay, I'm not doing tarof. But then you are kind of doing tarof, and it's like, well, you know, are you sure you don't want to eat a little bit more? Yeah, I'm sure. Okay, just give me a little bit. So you were doing tarof, even when you're saying tarof nemikonam, which is an additional layer that can be difficult for some of us. There's also adverbs of frequency here, so there's a lot of good stuff in the textbook. I'm going to go back basically to chapter 4, though, because I want to get this Anki stuff going. Last thing they teach is like nowhere, no one, hiç jaw, hiç cheese, hiç kar, hiç kodum, hiç kas. That's fairly simple, and I'll be dumping that in my Anki deck this week. So you see me just kind of scanning through here. They have a little recipe menu, and then last thing that I will talk about grammatically is the present perfect. They talk about the present perfect. This is really simple. This is the past stem with a. So he has gone. Now, speakers of British English are going to have an easier time with this than I do, because Americans don't always consistently differentiate between these. So the example they gave is like, is this seat taken? Yes, there's somebody here. He has gone to the bathroom. I'd say he went to the bathroom, right? But there's a difference in meaning between he went to the bathroom and he's gone to the bathroom for a lot of the English-speaking world, and in Persian too, it's different. So this is something that happened in the past and is still relevant to the present. Whereas he went to the bathroom would be like, okay, why are you telling me? With, you know, there's maybe not an expectation that he comes back. I see in the chat, if you like language learners, check out Lingo Play and Babadoom. If you like language games, I should check those out. And then Meta Tarof, exactly. It's saying I'm not doing Tarof is still part of the whole game of doing Tarof. Okay, so for the I have gone, man raftam, and there's a cool thing where they get condensed to raftam, rafti, rafte, which looks exactly like the past stem. The difference is the stress. So raftam versus raftam. So that's cool. All right, I'm going back to page 44. I'm going to get my my Audacity open and see where I last was. I'm going to get my Anki deck open, and I'm going to keep dumping language into my brain for later. This is one of those where I always have to just trust the system, trust the process, right? Trust the process. But I actually do have to trust the process because it seems to work. And it doesn't work as well when I don't. So let me see if this is actually opening. Where's my Anki? It's thinking. All right, Farsi, and we're just going to go to add. All right, what do I have here? What did I last do?
البته بدون شک.
I know, that's right. If we're translating into African American English, I know that's right. البته بدون شک. Okay. So that is the end of course, without a doubt. That's the dialogue here. So that there should be nothing else in this. This is going to be the British guy being like, as you can tell.
Parvez went to...
Yeah, Parvez went to the cinema. All right, so I see the present perfect versus simple past stress would be harder to learn for a foreigner. You know what? The book, they underlined it for me. What can I say? I got to actually work on it, but they underlined it. It was easy. All right, so track 31. Let's go to track 32, see what we got. Open with Audacity. Ain't nothing but a party, party. Anybody tell me how to say a taste of honey in Farsi? I've been listening to A Taste of Honey like nonstop in the gym for the last week, and it's a problem. It's a problem lifting to boogie, oogie, oogie. All right, what is this? It's going to be an exercise. I can already tell, like, this first part is the narrator, and this will be the Persian. So what do we have?
آخر هفته خوش گذشت.
بله جاتون خالی بود.
So, what did you do? Where did you go?
Okay, I already dumped all this in my Anki deck. This is role play. But since I'm here, Chikorkoni, what did you say? What did you do? Where'd you go? Kujo Raftin. Okay. Save changes. No. Let's see. Track 33. Open with Audacity. And it's about like 60 tracks in the first CD in the first like 7 or 8 chapters. I felt really good when I got to like CD 2. I see a taste of honey. Yeah, Boogie Oogie Oogie. Patrick, you see a taste of honey. A taste of honey is the group, first of all, and my gym playlist. Anybody can join me for this. It's very uplifting. I start with McFadden and Whitehead. Ain't no stopping us now. And then I make a station out of that on Apple Music. So that's what happens. I get like Daz by Brick. I get a lot of Shaka Khan. So and I get a lot of Taste of Honey. Also like who does what is it? He's the Greatest Dancer. Like all the stuff, everything that like 90s hip hop and late 90s hip hop, early 2000s hip hop sampled. That's what I get in my playlist, but the original things. A Taste of Cherry, is there a relationship there? No, but you know what? Oh no, not yeah. I see. Not the Beatles song "A Taste of Honey." No, the group "A Taste of Honey," as in like boogie oogie oogie till you just can't boogie no more, the song they sampled it for like "What's Your Man Got to Do with Me?" You know, I got a man. That like that's "Rescue Me" from "A Taste of Honey." Anyway, it's an educational channel. We're gonna do some education here. Let's see what this is.
Remember how Parviz said, on Thursday evening, we went to the cinema.
I do. He said, what did he say? He said, I don't remember. Chorshambe Cinema Raftim? Or Panshambe Cinema Raftim?
Here's a reminder.
شب جمعه رفتیم سینما.
Shabe Jome. That's what it was. Shabe Jome. And that's what I need to do. So let's export this. Clearly I need work on that because I couldn't figure out how to say Thursday evening, even though I know Friday's Jome. We talked about this last week. So analysis is one thing, but digestion is another. I see, yeah, Shaka Khan while running is good. It's good to have like positive music. And you know, some of the lyrics are just ridiculous, but it's great. Taste of Honey, Boogie Oogie. Like they start with like, you know, you may think you're too cool to boogie, but boy, have I got news for you. Everyone here tonight must boogie. Like, who says that? Anyway, you are no exception to the rule. There's also a body contact contract, which is the most respectful, like, way of hitting on somebody. It is absolutely ridiculous. Just a delightful song. All right, so extra pronunciation. Shabe drum e. What? Sound and video on cards will not function until MPV or MPlayer is installed. I feel like this is because I'm streaming or something. I don't know. It's an MP3, right? Let's try it again. Because I was not getting errors before when I did this. So, okay. Shabe drum e.
شب جمعه رفتیم سینما.
Raftim cinema. So let's do the whole sentence. Shab e jom e Raftim cinema. And I will have this because I want to say Thursday night. That's the main thing I want to remember. So that's the single word. And then my blanks here. It's a whole process, but hopefully it's also still useful. I don't think I need a picture for this. But I need something to indicate to me that I'm thinking Thursday thoughts. What screams Thursday? Happy Thursday. I mean, I could just do this. I'll just do this. Make today amazing. All right, happy Thursday. Facts about Thursday. Facts about Thursday. I went to the movies. How's that? Okay. Make 2 cards. Yes, please. And added.
You'll note that for Thursday evening,
Okay, he said Shabe Jomeh, literally.
we literally say the eve of Friday.
Yes. Erev Yom Shishi.
Based on this, how do you say in Persian, on Saturday evening, we went to the cinema?
Right, so that would be Shabe Yekshanbe, Raftim Cinema.
Remember that we literally say
Okay.
the eve of Sunday.
Remember. I see. How about a picture of Thor and the sun? And I could do that.
The word for Sunday is
یک شنبه.
I could do that. I feel like I want to learn the history of the months and the like Persian, like older approaches to like time.
Now it's your turn. You'll hear the answer after a
Oh
pause.
my goodness. Okay, I get it. So this should be Shabe Yekshanbe Raftam Cinema.
شب یکشنبه رفتیم سینما.
Oh, we went Raftim Cinema. Okay, so Shabe Yekshanbe Raftim Cinema. Let's I'll do this too. Shabe Yekshanbe Raftim Cinema. Let's export. Whoa.
شب یکشنبه رفتیم سینما.
Getting down to the nitty gritty. I hope I go to the cinema. This will be really useful. Shabe Yekshanbe. And do that. And it's not playing. I'm super worried that this is just going to not work and I'm going to have to remake all these cards, but such is life. Okay. And I want Shabe Yekshanbe. And my hint is, whoop, no, Shabe Yekshanbe. And my hint is, what did we say? Saturday night. Saturday night. That's another one that's on my playlist. That's on my Sunday morning face. Oh, who sings that? I guess I could just do Saturday Night Fever. We'll do that. Super easy. But while I'm at it, I can't find it. I'm Googling Saturday night and Sunday morning. Thelma Houston. There it is. That's a singer not a lot of people know. All right, I think I have the hang of this, so I'm going to move on to track 34, see what we got. Ooh, we got a lot of something.
Now you'll hear the days of the week in Persian. You'll remember that the first day of the week in Iran is Saturday and the weekend is Friday.
This one's fairly easy.
Shanbe.
Shanbe.
Saturday,
Saturday.
یک شنبه.
Sunday,
دوشنبه
I don't think I'm going to put these
Monday.
in the Naki deck.
سه شنبه.
Tuesday,
Chorshanbe.
چهارشنبه.
I love his vocal quality.
Wednesday,
پنج شنبه.
Thursday,
Did she say Pinge?
جمعه
By the way, I see in the chat, have I listened to Gugush? Yes, and she was sampled by, I think, Kanye, which not a huge fan of, but it's a great track that I was listening to last night. Is that like bum, 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 just like really good hook.
پنج شنبه.
Pinge.
پنج شنبه.
That is cool. Okay.
Thursday,
جمعه
جمعه.
Friday.
Yep. And then شنبه.
Examples.
Examples.
روز
We got this day. روز.
روز جمعه.
Saturday day.
On Friday.
جمعه ها.
جمعه ها.
On
Fridays.
Fridays.
روزهای جمعه
Same way of saying it. Okay.
On Fridays.
شب جمعه.
I see in the
Literally
chat
meaning the eve of Friday.
the Persian
But
calendar
an
uses the
English
zodiac for
equivalent would
months.
be Thursday evening or Thursday night. Now let's see how we pluralize this.
شبهای جمعه
The evenings of Friday. Okay.
Thursday evenings. Again, we're
Yeah. Okay. Easy, easy peasy. Let's go to track 35. Keep moving. Yeah, everybody seems to have adopted the some form of the zodiac, at least in the northern hemisphere. But there's, I know Hebrew has the sort of Babylonian months that they, from the Babylonian exile, that they kind of, brought back. And there's different approaches. So I know like Farvadin is different than like January, for instance. And I need to look into that a little bit more. All right, what do we
now
got?
it's your turn.
Now it's my turn.
I'll prompt you in English, then you'll hear the correct answer after a
Okay, so this is same thing, just old-fashioned. Do it with the CD. Do it with the cassette tape. So what do we have next?
Unit 4, Dialogue 2. Nothing to write home about. Two cousins, Salman.
All right, so first I want to see if there's anything else that I missed before Dialogue 2 that I want to include here. So I already did some of these verbs and everything, so that's fine. So dast pochte shoharam bud, it was my husband's cooking. We got the weeks, we got Shabbat Jomeh, exercises. Shambe Ahmed Be Landan, I don't know what that accent is. Shambe Ahmed Be Landan umad. On Sunday we went to the supermarket. On Monday, okay, easy. Easy. Ahmed. What are they doing? Nayomad, right? We went to a swimming pool. They haven't taught that. I might need it. Listen to the track Bavar Kon. Yeah, beautiful song. Let me go to the, let's see, I'm in chapter 4. Let me go to the English Persian glossary and find swimming pool, because frankly, that is actually probably going to be relevant in California. Hij. Oh, where were we? Jewish is Kalimi. I don't know. That's curious etymologically. Focus, Jones. Swimming pool. Maybe I'll learn swimsuit here too. Okay, you guys watch me just scroll. 7, 17, 70th, several times. Chandin bar. Oh, that makes sense. Severe, shadid. Okay. Severity, shape, shekl. Okay. Blah, 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 blah. Shaver. Skirt. Daman. Don't wear da skirt. Okay. Daman. Gonna memorize that. Oh man, I really have to resist the urge to just dump the entire dictionary here into my Anki deck and call that learning. All right, switched, syrup, sweets, swimming pool. Swimming was shana, so estachre shana. Estachr. That is a word. Okay, let's see. Let me find that in Wiktionary, because I'm very curious about this. So, nope. New. Aha. Okay. Wiktionary.org. Switch to Persian but cheating. And what do we have? Aleph. Estach. I bet that's a capital H. Yeah. No. How do I do that? Oh no. that's not... Is it X? Yeah, okay. Estar. Okay. Arabic, Arabic, Arabic. Just Arabic. Weird. Oh, see also. Spelling things correctly. Well, that is confusing. Well, also, that's not the right word. Okay. There's my problem. So, what do you say? Persian. There we go. Finally. Lacking or incomplete, probably through Arabic. That's fine. Pond or pool, swimming pool, estakh. And the proper noun is istakh. A place. Probably where there was a pool. Okay. Stronghold of Pars. Very cool. All right. So istakh. This is what I need to know. I don't know what I need to know. That's the thing. It's unknown unknowns. Okay, so I went back. Let's go back to chapter 4. Boom. What did you do at the weekend? And we're going just before, boom, on Wednesday. So Wednesday, I think of that as 3, but it's actually 3 plus 1, right? So Chorshanbe, dar estachre sheno, Raftim, or we say Raftim estachre sheno. Okay. Chorshanbe Raftim estachre sheno. On Friday, my parents came to my home. It's Umad, right? So, Jom A. They didn't teach us parents either. This is crazy. Huh. Let me find it. I don't know why I'm like not just using Google Translate here. Nobody says estachre sheno. What do they say? Please don't say it's like swimming pool. Estach. Okay. That's good to know. Estach. Tadig. Yeah. I see. Here's something I should know is tadig. Everybody should know tadig. It is the best thing in the world. Along with gourmet sabzi and fesenjun. Okay. Estach. No estach reshino. Estach. Which makes sense. It's like saying I went to the pool, right? I don't say I went to the swimming pool. All right, let me go to Google Translate and find how to say parents. Oh, I'm still in Persian. Okay. Translate.google.com. I'll share my screen so everybody can see what I'm doing. Parents. Horim, that is not the right language. Persian, it is... Oh. Was that Voldin? Okay, well now I gotta go to Wiktionary. Validain, okay. Persian. Borrowed from Arabic, walidain. Walidain, oblique dual of walid, which I thought that looked about like that. Validain. That's cool. Validain, okay, validain. I might as well drop that into my Anki deck. And I'll probably use like parents just don't understand. I'm just going to do the way I've been doing it. Validain. Let's find a picture of parents. PayPal. Patents. I love this. Angry parents. Okay. What is eggshell parenting? Man, sounds bad. Okay. I don't know. Follow my own advice. Take the first thing that actually is okay. Don't look at all the pictures. Keep it together, Jones. Keep it focused. Validain. I don't need a whole sentence. I don't need the audio from the last thing. Make 2 cards. Yes. This might show up weird, but I don't care. And keeping it moving. Okay. Pedar Medar. Okay. How's Pedar Medar doing? That is fantastic. Oh, I see I look over here. You're doing the grunt work for me. Okay. We have Raftam Sinema Umadan Diruz Ahmad Be Injo Umad Diruz Ahmad Umad Injo. Okay, that's fine. Shambe Ahmad Umad blah 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 blah. Gozashtan. We saw all this. We've seen this. Ta'tilat Chosh Gozash. So, did you enjoy your holiday? Mehmoni Chosh Gozash. Did you enjoy the party? That's great. So, we saw all this stuff a couple weeks ago. That is fine. Yek film them, blah, blah, blah. Dialogue 2, nothing to write home about. So we're going to do all of these now. And then I'll probably wrap it up for today. We'll see. So dialogue 2.
Unit 4, Dialogue 2. Nothing to write home about. 2 cousins, Salman and Marajan, are talking about last weekend. See if you can answer these questions. Why is Marajan not too happy about her last weekend? What did Salman have for dinner? We'll hear the answers after the dialogue.
آخر هفته خوش گذشت؟
تعریفی نداشت.
Tarifi nadosht. That is great. Nothing to write home about. Export selected audio. Tarifi nadosht. Let's dump this into Anki. I guess I should say, I guess I could make cards where I fill in all the words, right? Tarifi, nadosht. So let me drag this here. Boom. We'll say Tarifi nadosht. And then what I will do is really beat this into my head with making 2 cards that are basically the same. Front picture. What should I look for? I see events in the sessions keep going so fast. They do. They really do. Unimpressed, right? That seems perfect. I'll use this one, although I like the meme, the little kid. Okay, front picture. Tarifi nadosht. And then I'll do the same thing again, but I have tarifi and then my word is nadosht, so I'll do the other way around now to really, really, really hammer this home. And of course, I can always just bury these cards if I feel like I'm seeing too much of it. Tarifi nadosht, add, let's see. Tarif means narrative, so think about nothing to narrate. Oh, Vincent, you bought the 4th edition. All right, I should put a link to that one too in the chat. But enjoy it. Let's see. Okay, tarifi nadosht.
چطور مگه؟
تعریفی نداشت.
چطور مگه؟
کار خاص.
Chator mage, that's like, how do you say that? Like how so? Let's see what they translate that as. Chator mage. But why or how come? Okay. That's like, why do you say that, right? Like Chator mage. Let's go. That's Adobe, not Anki. I will say too that as my intended use of Persian gets closer and closer, I'm going to be dumping a ton into my Anki decks like during the week. So you're going to start seeing more later in the book as I continue. I'm looking for how come here. Did I mean how come? I did. We're going to add this picture. And Chator. This is Tarif Nadosh. Let me get rid of that. Chator Mageh. And add my audio. Add my word. And I'm done. Chator Mageh. How come?
کار خاصی نکردم.
کار خاصی نکردم. So there's a gem in it here. کار خاصی نکردم. I didn't do anything special, right? کار خاصی, so something special. I wonder if I can say that for other things, like it's a special whatever. Let's see if I can just copy and paste that. I really keep trying. It really keeps not working. Yep, it doesn't work. Okay. کار خاصی نکردم. And I think کار خاصی is the part that's going to be useful to me. Where did she say this? Boom.
کار خاصی نکردم.
File, export. Oh. Let's see. کار خاصی نکردم. So I didn't do anything special. And that's why it was تعریفی نداشت. Okay, let's see. Yeah. Okay, کار خاصی نکردم. Nothing special. Let's see if I can find a picture that actually evokes that for myself. The problem is I keep getting like just the words that I wrote in an image, which is not super duper helpful, but it's better than nothing. So let me see. Okay, I am going to wrap up after this because I have just received the call. So I'm going to, that's a YouTube thumbnail. You know what? Just going to take the nothing special image here. Who cares? It's better than nothing for me. And کار خاصی نکردم. Boom. Done. Let's see, where was I?
تو خونه موندم و تلویزیون تماشا کردم.
I'll do that.
کار خاصی نکردم.
I'll do that after. So I think it's time for me to wrap up. And yeah, that's I just want to say متشکرم خیلی ممنون. It had a great time again. Really enjoy getting all the feedback, the input, the conversation. I think at this point everybody here is probably subscribed, but if you want to tell your friends, that will definitely help the channel. And this is great. I see Forbidden Unix syscall says it will generate any. What is in fact what will generate? I got to go back and see what you said. Mega is kind of like the French subjunctive. Okay. Okay. Well, thank you all for your time. I'm really enjoying these. I got a few more weeks where I'll be doing this, and then I'm probably going to take a break from the live streams because I will be traveling and don't have my whole setup. I might live stream in person, but I can't guarantee that because I don't know how to do it yet. And then I'll probably have a video out detailing, what happened when I actually tried to use Persian out in the real world. After that, I don't know, nominate some other languages for us to study together. We'll maybe even use a different approach. We'll have some fun. Zevel, I know what you're going to say, so go ahead and vote for it. Yeah, this is we're about halfway there. I'm pretty excited. I feel like I'm learning a lot. We'll see how much I can actually say by next week and the week after. I see how about vlog videos from California? I will try it. I'm gonna have to just do it on my iPhone, which we'll see how the quality is. But I'm gonna try it. I see integrating Mandarin into Anki into Mandarin studies. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back to Mandarin at some point. One of my very good friends has finally just moved back to Taiwan, and I'm gonna have to go back to Chinese. But now is a much better time to learn Chinese than 2003 was, because the technology is just so much different. You're not trying to learn it from cassette tapes and textbooks, so it's gonna be fun. Maybe I'll do that, or Spanish. My searches on Google consoles tell me that everybody wants to hear about Spanish, but I don't necessarily know that I want to always play to the majority here. All right, so again, thank you all. Kheli mamnoon, mutshakaram, and until next time. I don't know how to say until next time, but maybe next time I will. All right, thank you all. And see you soon. I do have a new video out, if you haven't watched it, on comprehensible input and Stephen Krashen and what some of us maybe get wrong about that. So more videos to come. Yeah, thanks again. See you all maybe next Sunday. Talk to you soon. Take care. And happy learning.